No. Oh, no. We're at DSS, but let's change it. Our guest today, one of them is...
It's the Chris Perry Show. The Chris Perry Show. Nobody sings e-commerce songs like the Chris Perry Show.
No, nobody does.
Nobody does.
They are clever. They are smart.
They are smart.
You never quite know when you are gonna get the funniest part. The Chris Perry Show.
Welcome, everybody, to the Digital Shelf Summit here, live recording on Always Off Brand. Chris Perry of the Chris Perry Show is here.
But my better half is here.
Yes.
Oskar Kaszubski.
I'm his manager, music manager.
Yes. He's made millions.
This is a debut for Oskar Kaszubski.
Kaszubski.
Oh, God dang it.
No, it's easy. It's cash, like Kaszubski.
Kaszubski.
There you go.
It's what he made.
Kaszubski.
Selling my music.
That's right.
I'm printing money for Chris Perry.
Yeah.
You should be.
Yeah.
But this is an honor to have you, Oscar. I mean, Chris is old gay. You know,
I'm
he's been on the show
news
25 times. I mean,
Yeah.
I have an entire show dedicated to him.
I know. I'm kind of a little jealous because, I didn't think about it. So I'm like, shit. Am I getting replaced?
No. Well, see, but he's trying to replace me with AI. So
Yeah.
we're countering each other.
I think the karma is getting me somewhere.
That's a noble. Well, you guys are the brainchild of FirstMovr. All right. FirstMovr. What does FirstMovr do, Chris?
Well, we always like to say originally we were a satellite center of excellence. So we kind of orbit other centers of excellence at CPGs, agencies, retailers, but we're really all about
mic down. Let's get this
upskilling.
There you go.
Tall
Let's
enough
get
at the desk.
Let's get in there. Get in that grill. Come on now. I got my new little mic things, always off brand things. There we go.
No, we're
So you're
all about
upskilling.
upskilling, which
Yes.
can mean training, democratization of content at events and conferences and our own events, but also doing the work for teams, because increasingly there's a lot more work to get done and not as many people to get them done, especially in light of AI, which is a good thing, but there's still projects that need to be done, capabilities that need to be built. So we're here to plug and play and help wherever we can.
And you guys, Oscar, have been around a while now.
I know. I mean, we are like the dinosaurs of e-commerce. It's like, I don't think we even call ourselves OG anymore because it's not cool. There are some people that started in e-commerce in 2016. They're like, we had the OG of e-commerce. It's like, bro, I started in 2005. It's who am I? I'm a dinosaur. Maybe I'm a digital zombie.
But for FirstMovr, we've been around since 2020, which in e-commerce years is a century.
Yeah.
So
it is. So Oscar, I know Chris, he sings, he's got these talents, but Oscar, we all know behind FirstMovr, you're really doing all the hard work.
Exactly.
Well, what it is like, as Chris says, is like, I'm just trying to clone him digitally, right? So we can be in more places and you will never know if you're getting the, real Chris Perry, right?
Oh,
where is Waldo? 2026 version.
He wanted all of my training materials to build a brain, my brain, to compete with other GPT
There's
tools.
only one sound effect for that. That scares the living daylights out of me.
My fear is that once he creates that brain, he'll realize just how empty it is. That there's a sign in there that says space for rent.
Well, thank God we have RAM shortage now. So like we can get away with 8 gigabytes.
Okay, so this is actually what, Oscar, which AI, which LLM, or who are you? Who's your favorite? I'm dating several. Chit Chatty, I call her Chatty.
Yeah.
Claude is my new gal. Claudia, Claudette. Reliving my 20s.
Yeah.
And anyway, I'm just right now. Those are for me. I'm not. Gemmy is good. Gemini. I love Nano Banana. I love what she's got going on there for that. But where do you sit? Or do you have like the Claude, like the little mini app Apple thing, and are you doing Claw and all that shit?
No, so listen, you got to up your game. Number one.
Shit,
damn. You're like, you were cool like 3 minutes ago. Now things change. Okay, so you got to change it up. First, tell me. Let's talk about it. Nano Banana no longer cool. Everybody's using GPT-image-2 ChatGPT model. Very good. You can even do presentation. You can argue. You can do PDP content. One shot it. So forget about Nano Banana, not cool anymore, right?
Okay. Wow. Because I was trying images on. I was comparing contrast, but I will go back because this stuff changes.
It does. It really does.
And think about it as ChatGPT had DALL-E, which sucked so bad for many, many years. And suddenly they leapfrogged it, and GPT-image-2 is really good, right? So that's number one.
Okay.
Number two, no Claudette, okay?
No Claudette.
Claudette has massive issues. She's a very demanding and goes around a little bit too much. And she doesn't give you the right time because the limits are getting stupid because Anthropic changed their strategy. They want to focus on enterprise. So they are basically being very stingy when it comes into limits, right?
Okay.
So all the cool kids, unfortunately, had to go and beg Sam Altman to basically say, can you take us? Can you run us? Can you let us run OpenClaw, Hermes, whatever it is, right? In terms of all of that. But Sam is a little crazy because Sam is actually resetting limits every 3 days, basically. Like, it just
what do you mean?
gives
Like if you paid limits?
Yeah. So if you pay for subscription, right, he's going to reset your limits like every 3 days for like stupid reasons. It doesn't matter. He's just like announcing it on Twitter. Reset, limits reset it. Hey, spend all the money, right? It's crazy. Because what they are doing is they are basically trying to counter everybody that just moved on to Claude, right?
Yeah.
Because of a lot of the enterprises, right? And Claude is actually getting more publicity because of the revenue run rate, etc. I think they hit like 30 billion, the annual run rate, in terms of all of that, right? So like they are there. But okay, so that's second. ChatGPT, like you got to use it for like all the agentic crap. The third one is you got to
laying it down.
You got to level up your experience with AI. Okay. Look it up. Hugging Face has a little tiny robot that will drive you absolutely insane. It's called Richie Mini. You should look it up. And this is how you should be talking. Like if you like to talk to Grok, you can actually install Grok on Richie Mini, and this is how you should talk.
How do you spell the Richie Mini?
Like Richie, like reaching.
R-E-A-C-H?
Yeah, R-E-A-C-H. Mini, right? So if you actually watch the NVIDIA CEO, the keynote, he was actually showcasing this on the NVIDIA keynote, like, in the background. It's like this little cute robot that is basically white, but it has a lot of personality. It's almost like Wall-E, just, standing, but it's really cool.
Okay, wow. You're dropping now. That's a juicy nugget. Hold on. You're not getting enough bells. You didn't get our juicy nugget bell.
So
you got to have, that's like, man, you are dropping Oscar. Welcome to the program. Shit.
Anyway, so you can always level up your game. But listen, I'll tell you, the number one problem that we have within the industry is just like there's so much bullshit and nonsense that everybody talks about. The definition of agentic, it basically means 10 different things. People think they are talking about something. They really don't understand it. It's like a game of telephone, like somebody tells something else, somebody tells somebody else, and it's just like a urban legend almost, like, oh my God, AI is going to take over all of our jobs, etc. So we're trying to we're just trying to
preach, brother.
Yeah, we're just trying to demystify it a little bit, and keep it real. That's why, on Prompted, our podcast, if you go to FirstMovr /events, you can actually sign up for it. We actually talk about this, talk about like, what's real, what's not real.
Yeah.
And one thing I do appreciate, and it's a simple thing, but it's also using the various AI tools to like audit one another. So Oscar, I know you've done that a lot just so that you're not, because again, AI isn't always correct, but if you had a council of AI.
Yeah, so you can do that. You definitely, because, like sometimes the way the models are trained, for example, Grok is trained differently than Claude versus ChatGPT. You can audit themselves. If you have a single model, single subscription, what you can do is you can build different personalities. And those personalities can actually, a little bit, get a little bit better.
Wait a minute. You're like a movie writer over there? You're like writing screenplays for different personalities, different stories?
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
It's your line.
Totally. Yeah, no, you gotta, you gotta make sure you don't get written off the script.
So Oscar, is there now another platform tool, whatever, who combines them all? Is there like a cable operator here for AI yet?
Listen, unfortunately, where we are, so here's what's going on. I just drop you some knowledge. LLMs right now are reaching basically their peak in terms of their capability because we don't have enough data to train them. All the companies, they stole data from each other, Claude from ChatGPT, Grok admit that they took the ChatGPT, right? So now the name of the game is how can I build a better harness? And harness basically,
Harness.
yeah, harness is like a tool that allows to extract better value from LLMs, right?
Okay.
So think about it as OpenClaw, why it was super popular. Even Kiri was mentioning,
Yeah.
it's a harness, right? That harness allows you to have better experiences. But what we don't have at the moment is like a multi-agentic harness where you could actually scale this up to 100 agents, to 1,000 agents. Everything is very manual, right? So that's going to be the next step. I'm sure somebody on the open source community will open up, build a harness for like 100 agents to work with each other.
Okay, now we had Elaine Boyd on from Bigger Goals. Her company, she's exited a bunch of stuff, whatever. So she talked about she's got 41 agents. I'm like, okay, well, how did you build these agents? Everyone talks about their agents. I'm like, Jesus, I'm way behind. I have 0 agents. I got nothing.
I've got a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Chris has a musical agent.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
true.
That's right.
Yeah.
But she said like N8N, this is another firm that builds agents. I mean, aren't there a zillion companies like this that build agents?
Well, they are platforms. So like NAN is a platform. It's a visual platform where you can actually visually see it. But to be honest, you can go talk to Claude, for example, if you use Cowork, right? If you don't want to use the terminal, you can create similar agents without NAN. You can technically argue that Claude Code could actually control NAN and actually do that work for you.
The truth is, Oscar, I really don't have a lot to do. I mean, I just don't have a lot for agents to do right now. I mean, things are humming.
You got to create some problems.
I do, but Chris Perry, the Chris Perry Show.
See, but that created a problem.
It did.
I annoyed people
now
with the
now
song,
I'm abducted. I'm
and
like obsessed with that Suno thing. I can't stop.
Now, I do love the Suno app. If you haven't tried it, there's the free version, and then you can pay for
I'm
higher
all
levels.
about the free version.
But you can literally prompt it with very basic things, get really cool songs that are almost like worthy of. Like I listen to them on my own.
Yes, you do.
I Bluetooth in my car, but I also like you can write lyrics and so you could use. I like to hand write my lyrics manually, but you can AI write lyrics and then plug them into Suno to have them sing.
I did. So we're efforting right now on an always off brand new jingle. But Oscar, back to you, Chris. Thanks for that.
Thank you,
Oscar.
Thanks for that.
No, listen. My suggestion is because we live in a very interesting times of a lot of change and a lot of nonsense and a lot of bullshit.
Yes.
Find your crusade, right? And then
the Oscar crusade.
It's the Ikigai, right? You got to find where those.
And I'll tell you this is my new favorite thing. I'm not going to admit it because hopefully somebody's going to listen to it. But I will admit maybe just a little slide. Okay.
I mean, we're top 5 retail podcasts. Okay, I don't want to brag, but come on now.
Find a very long post, right?
Yeah. And
basically drop one-liner that kind of refutes it, agrees with it, but kind of refutes it at the same time. So that single one-liner is going to drive them insane because you're basically planting a little tiny, seed of doubt that they really don't know what they are talking about.
They're very they're pleasers, these LLMs. They have very pleaser personality.
But it's funny. AI typically, or ChatGPT specifically, often writes, and you can tell obviously when someone's written something with AI because it's sad because I think some people wrote this way anyway, but it's literally it's not this blah 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 blah, it's that.
Yeah,
it's always worded exactly like that. So but to your point, that's where you see the doubt because it's more than just X what they just said. It's also this.
But you want to hear a funny story? Spencer Milliberg, right?
Yes.
Yeah, from
Detail Page.
Yes.
And one-click retail fame.
Yes.
So he was doing something, writing an article response, and it was like, I know he knows me. I've been to his home. I've seen his kids, right? In terms of this, he writes me like this very canned response. Either somebody in Philippines wrote it back, or maybe AI wrote it, and I basically said, from Westward. My comment response was, "Cease all motor functions." So you can actually mess with your friends, right? Clearly, they are using some sort of AI to write a comment, a response, and it's just like just write it. It's like, hey, just
Okay, but so when digital marketing came out as a digital marketer, okay, and I am a dinosaur. I am an OG of anyway. I always said it from the consumer side, and we're kind of numb to this, kind of over it now. It was really creepy when you're like having a conversation, or whatever, and all of a sudden it shows up on your Instagram feed or this feed or that feed, right? All of a sudden, and you're like, the consumer side of it was like, that shit, that is creepy as hell. Like, what the hell is going on? From the marketer side, freaking cool as hell.
Yeah.
It's so cool. So for me, like, this whole AI thing is kind of creepy cool. It's like cool in some way that I can create a jingle in 5 seconds on a prompt. And it's also creepy as shit because I don't know, the stuff it knows, the stuff it can do is just weirds me out sometimes.
But think about it, it's a tool, right?
Yeah.
If it look from a perspective, it's a capability, and you can actually do things you normally would not do. And I'll give you a very specific, very silly example. Vibe coding. Let's say you can code an application.
Vibe coding. What the hell? I heard this on an Amazon earnings call, and I'm like, dude, so cool. Let's go vibe coding.
So all right. So what's going on with vibe coding, right? So
come on, man.
Andrej Karpathy, which was one of the co-founders of OpenAI, basically said it's like, now people that have no coding background. I have some coding background. I have a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, right? From way long, right? Way past. Probably more in COBOL than anything else. But anyway, you can basically create any application. You can write it, right?
Yeah.
In terms of that. And, you might not understand the code. You might understand the output. But think about this. You can actually use GPT Image 2, image generator, to actually tell you a visual story about your code, about your foundation.
Oh, wow.
So you can use image generator to translate the code that you would never otherwise understand. And you can actually be able to debug it and understand if the logic is flawed because you can actually see it visually.
That's crazy.
That's more than a bell right there. That's a chime.
What I'm basically saying is, if you treat AI as a capability to increase your capability, you can actually find those niches that something that you were not able to do it before, you can do it now, and you can actually understand it, right? You're going to see something else going on. Sometimes AI spits some nonsense, like AI, wisdom, right?
Yeah.
Written in AI style, right? And we almost need like Chris translator or Oskar translator, et cetera, right? In terms of all of it. You can actually then create another AI to say, it's like, hey, how I speak, because of, WAV files, et cetera, recorded, or, text, et cetera. Translate this to me so I understand in 2 seconds versus trying to like untangle this in 5 minutes, right? It's almost like a handicap translation.
It is, because this is my other point, Oscar. We are lazy by just human, like,
we always look for the path of least resistance.
We are like water downhill. We are going to find a crack. We are lazy by nature. Maybe I'm speaking about myself, but this is the other thing, the lazy things and the critical thinking that is being deprecated, as to use a fancy word. It's like my daughter, my oldest, is a high school English teacher, so she has to fight AI every day nonstop, and so she is against it right now because it causes her more pain. And these kids are so smart, honestly, and they know how to use it. So how do we debunk that?
What it is we have to look from a perspective is that we should not be teaching our kids to offload the thinking. It's more to augment the thinking.
I know, yes.
To get the research, to kind of understand all the facts.
Yes.
But I give you like when I was in school, I had a teacher, like she was a hard ass, right? She was basically my English teacher, right? In terms of all of it. She always gave me a C, right? And because she thought I sucked, I was never good enough. I got another teacher that was completely in the same wavelength. I got an A, because she actually brought the best out of me.
Yes, absolutely.
You got to look at AI. You got to position AI to kids. It's like AI, we don't speak the same way. We don't think the same way. AI can actually be a great translator of your ideas and enabler. And to be honest, there is so much work that needs to be done in details, right? And tenacity. Kids also got to learn it, right? In terms of how to operate it, because you might have the greatest idea. Guess what? You're going to tell AI, it's like, yeah, this is a great idea, or whatever, Johnny.
Yeah.
But
no, it's
I can execute it, and then you tries to execute it. Of course, things fall apart, right? So like that you have to have like almost like a Lego tenacity to be able to sit down and work on this consistently, and then you actually going to see the results.
The one thing is, when we do all this training, even before we do AI training, most teams, and this isn't a knock to leaders or practitioners, they haven't been. When they do training, it's just information. It's like, hey, there's an inspirational message. We transferred some content to you. They don't actually get to practice a whole lot.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is no one was really trained on almost any of our jobs in their MBA or in their BA or BS, in their bachelor program. So the reality is they're learning on the job, but no one ever actually takes the time to go, we always do the show me, let me approach, right? So let me walk you through. These are the best practices. Let's walk through applying that together, test you on it. Now you're going to do it individually or as a group. Now test yourself on it. Now, in a perfect world, when organizations will let us do it, here's a homework assignment. You need to bring it back. I know that sounds so as adults, no way, but that's how you learn.
Okay, so
it's applied science.
Where are we today? And this stuff is changing so rapidly. Scott Wingo this morning did a thing showing just from October of 25 to February of 26, just the massive change here. So
for sure.
So you guys work with and train and help and all these stuff, some of the largest CPG brands in the world, right? Again, overall generalization, I'm sure there's some here, some there. Where are we with these people as far as have they now embraced it and said, this is our AI copilot, whatever it is, this is the one we're doing. We want to make sure it's integrated in everybody's work groups and every team. No, where are we?
So in a weird way, and Oskar, I know you see this too. So if I just use omni-channel to represent digital commerce,
Omnibears, you mean
Omnibears or Omnibears. If you think of that spectrum, there are still, I like to think of at a simple level, it's the mathematics, right? It's not knowing the subject of how it works, how to operate in it. And then there's obviously the calculator, right? The TI 83 or 89 or whatever number we're on now. We'll date ourselves to the 83, which would be the AI tools that help augment the knowledge of how retail works, even though AI is impacting it as well in a new way. The problem is there's still companies that are on the spectrum. They don't not just the company, but the people are on a spectrum. They don't even know the math. So handing them a calculator, do long division more easily. They're like, well, I don't know how to, in a simple way. So there's still this spectrum of many companies still haven't really empowered their teams to actually do Omni correctly, let alone use AI.
Right.
Now, then there are some leader companies they have their own GPT tool, which is approved for financials and confidential information. They have the Copilot tools, or they have certain use cases. But one of the other barriers that keeps a lot of companies and teams from learning it is that there's a lot more don'ts than there are do's.
Yeah.
So when I hear the red tape go up and the red lights go up, I stop doing anything because I don't want to lose my job.
Yes.
But if you were to say, hey, obviously you're not going to upload a P&L to ChatGPT.
Well,
but
are you?
Well, no. Publicly, these are the don'ts, but here are all the do's, and let me show you what you can go do. So there are some leaders, CPGs, who, a number of the ones that I would say are probably really good at digital commerce and Omni, who are already leaning into empowering their team with AI
content.
But there's still a lot of companies who barely have taught their teams Omni 101, let alone AI 101. But the cool part about this is at the end of the day, it's not just about prompt engineering, but if you know how to use a tool, no matter what tool comes along, the better you prompt a song or a visual or an
prompt
article.
Engineers, right? I got to become better prompt
It's
engineers.
all about how do I curate and orchestrate and keep the critical thinking piece, so that I'm not just outsourcing that, I'm only outsourcing the automation work.
But I'll tell you, what the number one problem is in adoption of AI?
I have a sound effect for it.
All right. It's AI to be fully functional and make a difference in the company's life, life cycle, etc. It's boring like hell.
Yeah.
Because it's tedious. Because
and it's
think about this.
Based.
Yeah.
It's exactly. Workflow, right? You got to change your processes.
Yeah.
You got to still align the people. What AI is not a silver bullet. If you actually look at the modern business, you need AI 20%. And 80% of it's going to be boring code and workflows, because in order to run any companies, we need determinism.
Can't believe you've been hiding this guy from me, Chris Perry.
I want him to come
out. You want to talk about, singing and all this, if you want to talk about real and what's happening.
I translate the knowledge into music.
Okay. So Oskar, with that, and this is a great debate this morning. We're going to do a measure one tomorrow that I get to moderate, which is fine. From an agentic shopping, or from the, where is this in a mass adoption? Because Russ Derringer, who's a great research person, he kind of pulled cold water on what you kind of talked about at the beginning of this. It's calm down, everybody. This isn't complete mass adoption. We're not there yet. Simmer down. So, but where are we as far as shopping and e-commerce and retail and as far as AI?
So we are using more advanced search at the moment. The agentic commerce does not exist because you could argue we had agentic commerce like when we had Amazon Echo and you could actually order something, by talking to it. That was 10 years ago.
That was more of an agent.
Yeah, right. So it just, nobody's actually working on it. And guess why? Because they all have to make money on AI.
Exactly.
And right now there is no way to make money off agentic commerce in this because we're just too early in the spectrum in terms of that. So I would actually be paying attention to what's going to happen to Anthropic and to OpenAI IPO at the end of the year, because suddenly we will actually know how much AI costs, right? Because at the moment, think about this, like how screwed up the situation is at the moment, right? Anthropic and OpenAI are actually not teaching how to use their model in the most efficient way, despite they are super expensive. So people are using the latest model like GPT 5.5, Opus 4.7, for example, to do like stupid thing like center text on my page, which is idiotic, right? Because it's very inefficient, but for them it's great because it's like, look, you're doing this amazing thing that, something like two lines of code could do it by using the latest model and you paying us for it. But guess what's going to happen is the same thing would happen with Uber. Uber basically blew through like $2 billion of tokens in April versus that was their entire budget, right? Versus December, right? So the companies will soon catch up. Is like they are spending, billions and billions of dollars. I actually wrote an article about this on LinkedIn about token maxing. So they are like measuring how many tokens they are spending, but there is no outcome, or the outcome is ridiculous versus the actual model that was actually used, to get that outcome.
Yeah, all the earnings calls, it's a lot of token talk. It's
BS.
talk. And I was saying on my recent earnings, rant, parody, satire. Once you get into these numbers, like the human brain, like I just numb to these billions and this trillion tokens. Like it doesn't make any. I don't know what that means. Like because it doesn't just matter to me. One number is bigger than the others. So it just drives me crazy, Oscar.
Yeah,
I don't know how to compute it.
But it's if I take it, Rob almost got it right. On his keynote, right? The biggest challenge that we have is AI is not the engine. AI is the steam. They are selling us steam, not the engine. So we literally have the fuel, but not the actual engine.
But there's so much backlog. There's so much investment. But these AI companies, they got to make money, man. They're burning cash.
And think about it this, but the whole situation, for example, with how much Oracle has at stake with all of those different data centers, right?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to argue tomorrow. I'm going to write a small piece on LinkedIn that actually even Amazon is technically at the massive risk of, for example, their stock falling down because how much investment they have in AI, and if that blows up in their faces, it's going to drag down AWS. If it drags down AWS, that's going to basically reprice Amazon as HEB. It's just going to be another retailer, low cost, low margin retailer.
That's a good discussion. I don't know enough. I think they've diversified because, again, their Q3. I mean, again, I'm sorry. I will move on from Nano Banana. This has been a really hard talk for me. I need some time to process. But
you don't need more fruit.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It sounded like Andy Jassy at a farmer's market handing out, we've got this chip, that chip, this chip, that chip. We have this, we have Bedrock, we have, Agent Core. We have like 7, he's literally like hawking stuff.
But it's all comes down to CapEx. It's
true.
How much, capital expenditure is actually they're investing into AI, right?
Yes.
And that's the biggest danger, right? And I honestly think a lot of CEOs out there, they are basically thinking is that, Trump will bail out Anthropic or Trump will bail out OpenAI because it's a strategic move. But, we've seen what happened to Spirit Airlines. They were supposed to get bailed out.
That poor
didn't quite work.
That poor meme, the one where, they have the airlines, like they shut down. And so the airplanes, like all of a sudden, well, we're down. We can't land. We're down. That was terrible.
No, Oscar, one thing you brought up before, and I think this is important, and this kind of goes back to your question, Scott. We're using... From a shopper perspective, we are using AI unbeknownst to us through certain tools.
Yes.
But we're not really using fully agentic commerce yet.
Yes.
But where it's trickier though for professionals though is because the mass, some of the numbers that were shown in some of the presentations. The numbers being used by the average employee and capabilities are rather limited for a number of reasons, but the people that are using it, it's creating like that, the haves and the have-nots, right? Where
Another
the AIs
bifurcation.
and the AI nots, right? And so that's the problem is the people that are diving in, from the coders and the developers to the heavy users. They may be so many light years ahead of the people that and again, you were saying too, like obviously if enterprise access is limited to certain companies, certain people are going to get access that the everyday person couldn't. So there could be almost like the caveman, audience versus the more advanced.
But speaking about enterprise access, you guys should talk to people that are actually dealing with this on the everyday basis.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And I'll give you like a silly example. So a company launched Cloud Code. It's available to all of their employees, right? They cannot, and we're not going to name the company. They cannot basically run co-work because they fired single sign-on team. So basically, people cannot use something easier on them because they fired the people that could actually make it work. So that's one aspect. Second aspect is, so even if they go through Cloud Code and say, hey, I want to open PowerPoint, right? PowerPoint, in order to open in Cloud Code, it requires a lot of dependency. Guess what's going to happen is they won't have rights to actually install that dependency on their computer because their entire system is locked out. So literally, they launched the tool that nobody can actually use it because they didn't think it through what people would be using it
That's
for.
a great point, Oscar. Again, we'll have to have you back more than you, Chris. No,
I had my time.
He's my AI manager.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
But because I think it's a great point. I bet you this is happening. I bet you this is absolutely nonstop happening across huge organizations. Again, some of these people, you can't do the simplest things before AI.
Yeah.
Right.
The
brilliant basics are not being done
Exactly.
across so many areas.
No, but the thing what's happening is everybody's basically, hey, I launched Cloud Code. Now I enable my organization to do basically
I've checked
use
the
AI.
box.
I checked the box.
And you know
AI.
what? You know what I talk about all the time because I had the opportunity for years to be involved in these. The board is happy.
Yeah.
Who the CEO is happy. The C-suite's happy because we've checked the box. Because the board is usually hanging out with all their other board friends and they're going, hey, what are you guys doing with AI? Hey, have you got, right?
Yeah.
And this is all goes downhill. And then everybody gets the box checked because they can say, yes, we've deployed it.
Until the results don't happen.
Exactly. So this is my other thing. I'll get you out of here on this. Again, this is just my amateur hack opinion. All the job replacements, the engineers. I mean, I give Amazon a ton of shit. Almost $9 billion in salary and benefit they've gotten rid of in 6 months. A lot of engineers, a lot of dev teams, right? Have we overreacted to that? Is it now like going, oh shit, we shouldn't have done that because now our single sign-on encryption doesn't even work and our IT team is now 4 people?
So I mean, this happens,
all the time,
the time, and single sign-on, like Tableau, anything, any like it's like, hey, I want to build a dashboard. Well, you fire all the people that were building the dashboard, right? What it is like at the moment AI is way oversold.
Yes.
Right. And
hype cycle.
The effort is way oversold in terms of what it is, because we are not talking about it is that there was a great essay in 2011 called "The Software is Going to Eat Everything." In a way, nothing changed. You still need the software, the processes, the code to actually make it work, especially for large organizations. AI is just a scaler. It allows us to code. It allows us to, run new ideas, new specs, get better at it, to think about things or research things that we wouldn't think otherwise. But it's not doing the hard work. It's not designed for this. It's probabilistic, not deterministic.
So the human brain is still a little ahead of AI.
Not all.
It's being
brains.
augmented.
Some.
It's being definitely augmented.
Some human brains.
Because
God,
I've met a few that I don't feel very
I don't know if I feel better after this conversation or if I feel worse. I'm not
Scotty.
sure. Hey, Lauren, do you have my buzzer?
Oh, yes. Thank you. I told you I was going to.
Yes.
That's your buzzer.
Okay.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Officer.
We're wrapping it up here. We got to get you out of here on this. I feel better. I think again you've thrown some reality into the mix of what's happening, and all I care about is retail and shopping. I have some dreams and visions that AI and Confluence with a bunch of other cool tech that's going to actually emulate the unbelievable retail experience of walking into a store and talking to a great retail clerk who actually asks you the right open-ended questions to guide you to the great product that you love, and then you'll come back. I think we do personalizations like crap today. I don't think we've done it for 25 years in e-commerce. So that's my hope for AI. What do you think, Oskar? Do I got a shot or not?
You get a shot. The question is, there is a little bit if. At the moment, a lot of people, their usage of AI is based on the free model. Think about this.
Me, hi.
If their free model
Too
goes
cheap.
away because it's too expensive to run,
Yeah.
then basically the only way people can actually interact with AI is using Sparky,
or Rufus,
Yeah.
but then the use case is diminished because you're not using it for all your other life
Okay,
needs, so they don't know you as well.
We got to get so I have more questions for you. God, this is just fantastic. This is another, I think, an interesting, there's a lot of theoretical, right? Prognostication, blah, blah. The whole theory or the whole idea that when it comes to shopping, there are vertical agents like Rufus and Sparky, and then they're horizontal like ChatGPT and Claudia, whatever. Which one's going to win? If we do get to agentic shopping, even assuming not full bots doing everything, am I going to take my ChatGPT with me everywhere to Amazon and everywhere? Am I going to
be a source of history?
See, I don't think the
would be your
dollar
account.
bills. I don't think dollar bills will allow that to happen because they want you on your site. The reason everyone loves LLMs to search and discovery is because it's pristine, it's pure. There's no ads. There's no gunk. Right? It will be polluted. It has already begun. So what horizontal, vertical? Where do you sit on that?
No, I actually think that here's the biggest problem. We need consumers to see the value of AI. I would argue that the most important subscription that you're going to ever have is a subscription for AI, but people don't see that yet.
Yeah, it's not mass adoption yet.
There is no mass adoption. Think about it, is if you actually look at what OpenAI was saying, is they basically lost a lot of people that were paying $20. Now they are trying to get them back to pay $8, right? So I think honestly we have to see the value of it. So, and I honestly think it will not change until AI will actually start making you money.
Yeah, that's
for each individual consumer.
Yeah,
that will not change. They will not pay. They need to see almost run this as a P&L.
Show me the money.
So, because
show me the money.
That is the problem. Is like if people don't see this as their extension in terms of how they can make money, they will never pay for it. Yeah. They need to see the ROI.
Or to the same degree, not that everybody pays for delivery memberships and whatnot, but when you started to see the value of time coming back to you, if you didn't have to have go and get something at the store.
I apologize. 1 second.
No.
Eric Heller, come back and will you come and hang out with us for a while sometime after your lunch?
Is Chris Perry still with me? I'm always
the
here.
Chris Perry Show. It's lunchtime here at Salsify. Oskar, curious, I interrupted you. Would you come back and hang out with me, please?
Absolutely.
Okay, come back. Eric Heller, now he is a serious in the Amazon space, and he is an OG.
He is.
But what were you saying? I apologize to you.
To Oscar's point, there's two sides of it. It's like, how much do I save in cost, or how much can I make? That's where the value starts to be seen. When you think of like using ship to home or delivery or pickup services, right? At the end of the day, the shopper wants the least friction. Wouldn't it be just great to have everything brought to me, except if I have to pay for the delivery, right? But if I have a membership, the value now, I've saved my time. I'm getting more money back than I was actually spending on delivery. AI obviously has the potential not just to save you time, but also actually make you money, right? Paying for delivery doesn't make you money unless somehow you monetized the receiving of your items, right?
But remember, I was talking about
two sides to that,
and you got to look like what's in it for who, right?
Exact incentives, baby.
Anthropic, in their incentive is not to teach us how to use cheaper models to do the same work, right? The same thing for retailer. Think about it this: Amazon has access to all of our history, purchase history. It could actually optimize this for us. It's like, hey, the brands run promotions on these days, like.
This is when you should be bought. We'll go ahead and do it for you.
$1,000 per year very easily, right?
Yeah.
But are they incentivized by it?
No.
It's the same. It's the same thing. You gotta follow the money. Who is incentivized by what, and then you understand the behavior behind it.
Follow the money. I think that's a great place to end it.
Yeah.
Don't you follow the money. Oskar says follow. I think I had the same place. This is also organizational structures. You got to follow the money. The reason we have silos equal sadness, is because there's P&L ownership. There's
Right.
compensation. I'm not going to give this guy my money and my this and my that because my bonus is going to be
Right.
different. And you don't fault the guy. You don't fault the
No.
person.
Until you restructure the thing to be based on what we should be measured
Exactly.
on. Right? So
General outcome. Oscar, this has been an absolute pleasure. Do you have more? I don't want to hold you
No,
back.
I'm good. I'm good.
It's lunchtime here.
It's lunch. We
I
gotta
was
go
going to
eat
go
supper.
interview people and say what they got on the buffet.
you want to retire 5 years too early, not 5 minutes too late. You know what I mean?
All right, you guys. Thanks for coming by.
No,
All
thank
right.
you.
We'll
Thank
have
you.
more from the Digital Shelf Summit right here in Atlanta coming up next. Thanks for watching. Remember, people matter. Bye.
Hey there, this is Haley from Quickfire, and they want me to read this so you know what this podcast is part of and how to find out more if you want. Always Off Brand is a production of Quickfire LLC and a part of the Learn and Laugh series on the Quickfire Podcast Network. For more information, go to quickfirenow.com. Have a good one, and thanks for listening.